I didn't watch anime until we started doing this pod, and I feel like as a person that when you first get introduced to anime, you either go one of two ways. You either kind of get really into it and actually care about the animes and the stories and shit like that, or you become a degenerate. And I picked the degenerate side.
I got ice in my veins. Walk like a champion, champion, champion. I'm so cold-blooded, I fear nobody. Ain't no letting down, I won't let you down. 'Cause I got ice in my veins. I talk like a champion, like a champion. I'm so cold-blooded, I'm so cold-blooded. I fear nobody, I fear nobody. I walk like a champion.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 92 of the Saratobi Sports Pod, the Deshaun Stevenson episode, which works out because, you know, Mavs and Nets legend. As you can see, it is just the two of us today. My guy, JT, just in transition, just in the DMs, just on his damn phone, but not today. Not today.
Just the two of us.
There we go.
We can make it if we try. Ah, boy. Yeah, man. It's living large.
Hard day of work at the Cox Center. So we'll be back next week. That's right, though. We don't really need him anyway. Yeah. We'll be fine.
It is weird because, like, usually when I record for the when we do Zoom, I'm in the basement. And I had to find a new space because everybody else had stuff going on in every part of the house. So I'm in my room. I don't know if you can see, but look at all my flag. Look at all my towels from the previous Nets playoff run.
Yeah, your Nets banners.
Bro, it's crazy.
I mean, it's nice to have. I don't have shit for sports stuff in my room, honestly.
Yeah, like my room is literally like if you were to see what a 12-year-old sports fanatic's room would look like, that's literally it. Like it's nothing but it still has like the Nets wall like lined paper.
I can see it.
Yep. And I got a Nets clock. I gotta slide the Silver Fox poster up in here. Still got no, my Vince Carter poster fell, but I got a whole bunch of Temple and Jet shit up too. I mean, it's just we're living the dream in this room, man.
Yeah, it's a good thing you're not dating. I'm sure if you brought girls back, they'd feel very comfortable.
I mean, I have, and I mean, what do you call it? When Kylie sleeps over, she sleeps in my room, and I sleep on the couch. So she's seen this, and then
yeah, but that's your whole girl. That's different at this point.
Bold of you to assume the only person that's been in my room was my girlfriend.
No, I'm not. But I'm saying. Well, actually,
like I live. I'm 26 now. Like damn.
It's like I had a life before.
I had a life before the last 4 years.
I mean, I guess.
But yeah, man. Speaking of, Nets and whatnot, close out that series. That's fantastic.
As expected. I'm not that surprised it was the gentleman's, but I am just because of the way the first 3 games went. I just thought y'all were just going to be like, all right, let's just pack these boys up. But Jason Tatum had other things in mind.
Like I don't know why people assumed it would be a sweep. I respect Jason Tatum enough to give him like, and I respect Marcus Smart enough too to be like, all right, they could will them to a win in the series.
Yeah.
I did think it was going to end in 5.
Whether
it'd be game 3 or 4, it didn't matter. Like I knew they were going to take a game, but then that's clearly the more dominant team. And you see, like every win in the series was by double digits. So much ado about nothing. Everybody figured that was going to be the case. Just got the only unfortunate thing in terms of injuries, which we've seen has been, bugging the NBA this playoffs. Jeff Green with his plantar fasciitis. So we'll see what his status is for the upcoming Buck series. Hopefully he's back because he is a big loss. But other than that, business as usual.
I need someone with some size and mobility to match up.
Which means we're dusting off DeAndre Jordan. But
why? No, he doesn't have mobility.
The problem is, John, is that he's arguably been the best defender against Giannis. Like, the game where Giannis dropped like.
Wait, so KD's not going to guard Giannis?
No, like he would,
okay.
But just for size wise, because I think they'd rather KD on Middleton just because of the length and stuff like that. Like DeAndre can body up better against Giannis better than KD. Like KD is 185 pounds soaking wet. We know this.
Yeah,
like,
but on the wing, that's an easy blow by all day.
But that's why they slump off. And that's why, like, even in the 47 point or whatever game that Giannis had, the 50-point game, the only reason why it looked like he was killing is because his mid-range and his 3-point shot was falling. Listen, and as we know,
50 points, you're killing.
Yeah, but it's, how many times is Giannis going to make 8 jump shots in a basketball game? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why, and then you saw the game after that, it was a little bit better. He wasn't as dominant. But so I think DeAndre does pose the best physicality, like the best physical presence against you.
Do you think Bruce Brown or he'll just get bodied?
No, he's just too, not to say he get bodied because Bruce is strong. Yeah. Giannis is just taller. Like Bruce is only 6'3", 6'4".
Okay.
So that's why it's also important to have Jeff Green, because Jeff Green is also, can body up too. But it'll be a good series. I think this I think this will probably be the best series in the playoffs in general. I think
that I get that. Also, you guys have some time though before the series starts, which is good.
Yeah, but I think it starts on Saturday. I think June 5th, I believe, right? So what's that?
You know the extent of his plantar fascia? Is it like just irritating or is it torn?
Well, they said they was gonna be reevaluated in 10 days, and then so I think that's either Thursday or Friday. Mm-hmm. But he was on the bench. He was in a walking boot up in Boston. Okay. Yeah. But when they came back for Game 5, he was in regular street clothes and he was jumping up and down on the bench. So it's probably it's probably not like a Joakim Noah or Joe Johnson level plantar fasciitis, but just
Noah was torn. His shit was straight up torn.
Oh no, that shit was done. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Also, talking about the Bucks, like this is something like we all know Chris Middleton's really good, and I feel like because Giannis has the 2 MVPs, because he's always been as dominant as he has been, a lot of people look at Middleton as a Robin. And I don't think Middleton's a Robin.
I do not think Middleton is a Robin.
I think he's way more Nightwing than he is Robin. Like he's maybe before he was a Robin, but like I feel way more comfortable with the ball in Middleton's hands at the end of the game than I do with Giannis. And he's proven that he's like, I'm gonna go get him. I'm not standing in the corner just waiting for him to open shot anymore. Like he's a bucket getter now. And that's a big thing. Like again, I do feel like the team that matches up the best with you guys is the Bucks, just because they have the length. And they have like not stars, not all superstars, you know what I mean? But they have the people to match up. Like you have Giannis and KD, you have Middleton and Harden, and then you have Drew and Kyrie. Kyrie's he's a professional scorer. He's gonna do what he has to do, but Drew is a great defender and he's gonna make him work for it. And that's all I can really ask. Those are all defenders that are really gonna make you work for it. So
and that's the thing. I think it's gonna come the series will come down to whose stars are gonna be better. Mm-hmm. And bias or unbiased aside, I think it's fair to say that the Nets have the better of the stars. I do agree. Like Drew Holiday is their best chance at either quelling Kyrie or Harden, depending on who he's matched up against. And then I think the role players are going to be huge. I mean, we saw it in the regular season matchups, the benches. So like, Bryn Forbes is somebody that has really taken, I guess, not become a household name, but put his name on the map in that Heat series with how well he was shooting the basketball. So if DiVincenzo's a loss for them, but they still got a bunch of solid role players. Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez.
I feel very strong about him cooking because you said yourself that usually teams with just like good big men tend to do well against you.
Yes.
And so Brook always has some extra motivation playing against you guys.
And it's great because it's almost like Brook is back to how he was playing. When Brook is playing like how he played in Brooklyn before he started getting his 3-point shot, where he was in the post, getting his hook shot, getting to the rim. Yeah, also Brook Lopez. He's a killer. And now you add that with the 3-point shot, and he did a really good job of that in the Heat series of not just being a shooter where he's shooting 8 or 9 threes a game, but he's actually getting in the post, getting in the paint and scoring. It's gonna be tough. That they're big, they're formidable. So it's going to be a tough test, for the Nets, but it's going to be great for us watching.
This is to me that's the real test for the Bucks. Is we've always said if they don't make the finals, this is a loss for them. This season is a loss for them.
And I think whoever wins this,
out. If the Nets are out, that team should win the East.
Yeah. I think whoever wins this series wins the finals. I don't see. I just don't see it in the Suns. Don't see it in the Jazz. I mean, yes, the Jazz are the best record in the West, but there's holes there.
I think a hot Jazz team can give Milwaukee a run.
Yes, I think they would have to.
Milwaukee, yes. We've just seen Giannis fold multiple times. You know what I mean? Like, and if they game plan properly, it could be a little sketch from Milwaukee.
Look, the Jazz, when the Jazz three ball is hitting, when Bogdanovich is hitting his threes, when Clarkson is hitting his threes, even when Royce O'Neal is hitting his threes, they're as dangerous as they come, but the consistency has to be there. I know that Bogdanovich is also a professional scorer. Like, he will get you, he's 16, 17 points a game.
He's honestly white J.R. Smith, if we're being honest.
Basically. And you know what you're going to get with Clarkson. He can either he's more often than not a flamethrower, but he also has his times where he's a low. And then there's sometimes where
more consistent than Bogdanovich, honestly.
Yeah. And then there's sometimes where Royce O'Neal is giving you that, almost that PJ Tucker role of the corner three, every once in a while. But then there's times where Royce is just non-existent on the court.
Tony Snow.
Exactly. So you know what you're going to get with Gobert. You know what you're going to get with Donovan. You know what you're going to get with Conley. So, but there's just something about Utah that I feel like we see it every year. There's just something about Utah that they just don't get over that hump.
They're in the space that the Bucks were in, honestly. And with them having like the best record in the West, it adds more pressure to them and be like, okay, like, what are you guys really going to do here? What's it going to turn into? Going off the legend Tony Snell, did you see Bertans' stat line?
Oh, there's the 0 points, 0 assists, 0 rebounds in like 20 and 6 fouls in 26 minutes.
All zeros, 26 minutes, 6 fouls.
I mean, that's just, you talk about cardio, bro.
Yeah, that dude fell off a cliff. He's destined to just be a role player on a maybe playoff team, but for someone who came out of San Antonio and started off like, all right, he's really scoring, to just being like, all right, I guess we'll put you in. But Washington also has no one, so there's that.
I'm gonna say he might fall into that kind of Nicolo Melli, role, kind of like how he is with the.
But I'll tell you what, Nicolo Melli defense.
That's true. Hey, but give Bertans some slack. He playing with only 9 fingers, all right. So
what does that have to do with moving your feet?
I don't know, but his equilibrium's off.
But I mean, that series should wrap up too, even without Joel Embiid. Who
I was gonna say, speaking of injuries and stuff, that's a big one. A slight or partial meniscus tear.
Yeah,
they say day to day, but I feel like we've been around sports to know enough that a partial meniscus tear is not a day to day type injury.
Especially not for a big.
Exactly, especially a big of his size.
Yeah. He really might miss the whole next series, if we're being honest. Also, again, bum ass Ben Simmons, not a superstar Ben Simmons. Tired of the shit. Tired of people explaining.
I'm telling you.
If we're being honest, he should be traded in the offseason to get someone who can really build around Joel Embiid. Or, really evaluate Joel Embiid's health. Trading a possible MVP candidate is pretty fucking wild. But, hack a Ben Simmons. Hack an Aussie worked. Hack a kangaroo. And it would just without Joel Embiid, they're rocky, man.
That can't happen. Like, your star player, like when it was Hack a Shaq, all right, you can keep Shaq on the court because of how dominant he is. Yeah. Same when they were doing the hack of Dwight, when Dwight was in on Orlando and even with the Lakers and stuff like that. But they're good enough that it's like, all right, yes, they might be an automatic miss from the line, but what they give us on the other side, and also if they're not being fouled, is a plus. We'll take that chance. Yeah. Ben Simmons doesn't give you anything on offense.
In a half court,
unless he's one of, we all agree, he's one of the best players in transition. Like when the Sixers are in transition,
he's in transition.
He's the best combination of speed, size, and athleticism and length, and his court vision is second to none. But when you get into the half court, and you can play him, and he's at 3-point line, and you can just slink off at the free throw line. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? If his defense wasn't as great as it was, there would be a lot more conversations around Ben Simmons.
They should treat him like a big in the half court sense of being like, put him at the free throw line and just try and run the offensive line
at the high post, right? Like kind of how Denver does with Jokic.
Yeah, and just try and have. But like, I also just don't feel like he's with it because he's trash. And I mean, as already shown, he doesn't want to work on any other shooting. And it's like, I will say this: at least the Shaq was going to miss a bunch of free throws, but he was going to make them when it counted.
It is true. I mean, and the high post work. Like we see it with Jokic, it works. But the difference is Jokic can make a jump. He's not afraid to take a jump shot. He's not afraid to step out behind. Exactly. He has post moves, which Ben Simmons does not have. Like, does Ben? I've brought this up before with Giannis, right? Giannis really doesn't have a bag offensively. He's just long and strong. Pause. But but it works for him. He can get from half court to the basket in 2 steps. What can Ben Simmons do in a half court if he's not like, because bully ball, he doesn't do bully ball enough. Like bully ball works for Ben.
I don't think he does it at all. He should do it every time because most of the time he's going to have a guard matched up with him.
Exactly. He's 6'9" and bigger than basically 95% of the guards and stronger than them in the league. Yet he doesn't do bully ball. So if he's not going to do bully ball, what else is there for Ben Simmons to do offensively?
Yeah. I will say this, though. I feel like, honestly, even without Embiid, they still might be able to win whoever they play next. Most likely it's going to be Atlanta. Listen, if the Knicks manage to come back from down 3-1, that would be amazing.
If the Knicks manage to come back from 3-1, I would very much throw my hat into of beating. Not to say I think they would beat the Sixers, but I would very much be rooting for them.
If they come back down 3-1 and Sixers don't have Joel Embiid or even 100% Joel Embiid, they really might. They might win. Because what the fuck is Julius Randle going to do in a half court? But I mean, we can go right into that series. We obviously don't have our resident Knicks fan this week, but
it's not looking good,
rough, man. No. This is. I thought Julius was starting to figure it out. At the end of game 2 or 3, I don't know.
What's
he was trying to figure it out, and then he proved me wrong.
Well, what's that line that one coach said? Like, they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. That's exactly who Julius Randle was. I think there was some Knicks, like, I don't even know if she's a reporter or anything, but she's always on basketball Twitter or whatever. She was like, oh, like, how can, this isn't a microcosm of like Julius Randle. Like, how can you like fool the NBA for a whole year? And I'm like, well, it's easy to do. Like, we see it multiple, like, all the time. Like, it's not necessarily you're tricking the league, but it's just, all right, you can have a really, really good year. And then once playoff time comes, people actually game plan for you. They're spending hours. Like, throughout the course of regular season, you're not spending hours, of film on one player because you have other games you have to worry about in the course of a week. During the playoffs, you're only focused on this team. So you're going to pinpoint all the weaknesses. And what they're doing is making him uncomfortable, sending the double every time, forcing him to be a playmaker. And it doesn't help when the Knicks role players are not making shots. When Bullock's making a shot, it looks great. But when he's not, we see what happened.
See, that's my thing. I think, like you said, like them forcing him to be a playmaker is a lot where it comes from. But I feel like in that sense, you just got to get into your offense faster. You can't try and stand a triple threat for 20 seconds. You know what I mean? He's got to adjust. And I don't want to like have full Julius slander because he did have a great season. I do think he's a very good player. And it's also like in the beginning, you can tell that everyone on the Knicks outside of Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson were shell-shocked. Like Derrick Rose, he's like, I'm here. Like, I've been here before. I know what it takes to win. And he's doing exactly what he needs to do. And to me, Julius hasn't looked like each game he looks shook. Like he
admitted it after game 1. He was like, yeah, like there was just a lot of energy in the building and stuff like that, and it kind of threw me off. And
they played most of this year with no fucking fans.
Yeah, and he said he exerted himself too much in the first half, and then by the time the second half rolled around, he was just running on E. I
think with it, like my mom, I hate watching sports with my mom because she's like the most pessimistic sports fan ever. And she's just been like, oh, like you could tell something's wrong. And I was like, yeah, like, I'm like, dude, like, yeah, something's wrong. This man, it's the first time in his career that he's a star. He's now the first time he's the leader of a team, and also the first time he's in the playoffs as the leader of a team. Like, it's a lot of pressure. I'm not gonna say never can do it, but I mean, my thing I always go back to is look at Gordon Hayward's first playoff series. He didn't play great. He was shook when they made it to the playoffs on the Jazz. It took him a while. You know what I mean? Is it too late for the Knicks? Probably. Do I still hope they win? Yes. But Atlanta is doing what they need to do. You know what I mean? Like, all credit to him. And the Knicks, you know, Derrick Rose is shit. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. The one thing I like is Clint Capella's talking all this trash. So Knicks get riled up a little bit. I'm here for it.
Hey man, look, and like you said with the Gordon Hayward thing and Julius Randle, this is his first playoff. Not only does this is his first playoff, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Because he wasn't on that Pelicans team when they were because that was AD's Pelicans team. All right, yeah. So this is his first true playoff experience. Not only that, it's his first playoff experience as the guy on the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we saw this. I was talking to some people. I'm like, it's amazing the similarities between the 2019 Nets and the 2021 Knicks, where you have a team that nobody expected to make to the playoffs, have this great run in the regular season, get to the playoffs, you know, and had a pretty, you know, decent win early in the playoffs. But as we saw with D'Angelo Russell, we're seeing with Julius Randle, you know, it's easy being the guy in the regular season, but when the teams start game planning for you, it's a little bit different. And we saw it. The Nets. Yeah, D'Angelo Russell struggled, and that's why everybody was so on the Caris LeVert train, because Caris was the one that stepped up. And Caris was the second option at the time. But, you know, when all eyes on D'Angelo, and then you're also getting guarded by an all NBA defensive player and Simmons, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, in this Knicks series, it's definitely where can we build from for them, you know what I mean? Hopefully they can do some stuff, figure some things out, especially for the guys that they want to keep going into next year, get that experience for them, figure out what works. Hopefully some adjustments are made. Hopefully they come out with some fire to them, because it's like outside of D-Rose and Tibbs, it's like, hey, I don't know who's out here looking like they're really trying to play super hard, you know what I mean? And also I will say this, Obi's playing hard as shit, man. Yeah.
My boy, everybody been sleeping on my boy all year, talking about. Look, I still think that his best fit is not with this New York Knicks team. This is not the style of play that he needs to. It's not the type of offense he needs to be in. But he has provided the Knicks very, very good, you know, spurts of energy and offense off the bench. You know, you saw it in their game 2 win. You know, him with the alley-oop dunk and things like that. Like, he's even not turning down open threes, which you like. Even if they're banging off the backboard, right? You want to see him at least shoot it, because you want to make the defense honest.
Exactly.
And his defense
is doing what Ben Simmons should be doing.
Yeah, his defense hasn't been terrible either. I mean, he has played better than expected, I would say.
Yeah.
In this playoffs.
Honestly, he's giving very much of what Dwight Powell was giving a couple seasons ago before he got hurt. He's going to come off the bench. He's going to be your high energy guy. He's going to bust his ass, work really hard, grab rebounds, try and get to the rim. He's athletic. Throw him all the lobs you can. Like, and then if he's open from 3, let him shoot. Like, it's very much Dwight Powell. I obviously think Obi's ceiling is way higher than his. But yeah, I mean, you got to take what you can out of this. Hopefully there's still some things to salvage in this series. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's pretty much it for the East. Yeah, that's it for us this week, guys. No anime book club this week. We're going to wait until we're at full strength. And again, this episode's going to come out on Thursday, but starting next week, most likely episodes will start coming out on Friday. We're kind of shifting everything down a day. Just to make life work a little bit easier, but we're still there. Make sure to go follow us on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok at Saratobi Sports. Shout out to everyone. I don't know if y'all gonna get this far, if y'all listen to the podcast, all the new people who checked out. If you're not following us, go follow us. We got a TikTok that's blowing up over there, which is great. Shout out to JT for having his Amber take.
Toxicity at its finest.
Yeah, and that's. Oh, and you guys can follow me on Twitter at Offended Normal. That's pretty much it.
All right, look at that. Made it through the pod. All right. You already know. Follow me on Twitter, J_Thomas_24. Yeah, man. It's just living life, living La Vida Loca, getting ready for playoffs. The second round. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's go, Mavs. We'll catch y'all next week.
I got ice in my veins. Walk like a champion, champion, champion. I'm so cold-blooded, I fear nobody. Ain't no letting down, I won't let you down. 'Cause I got ice in my veins. I talk like a champion, like a champion.